Hello, and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be comparing the Goodreads rating to my 5-star books. I've only chose like 10 because I have a lot of books that I rated 5 stars. So I wanted to find the ones that had like the biggest difference. I might make another video where it's my ratings versus Goodreads and how they like align, or like something like I agree with Goodreads. But anyway, pretty much this video is to convince you to read books that Goodreads doesn't think is good, but I think is good. Anyway, so the first book I want to talk about is Izzy plus Tristan. This is by Shannon Dunlap, and I absolutely loved this book, and Goodreads gave it a 3.2 stars. Be for real. That was such a good book. I loved it. I couldn't put it down. I read it in like 3 days. It was a Dollar Tree find. Like, some of the books I've gotten at Dollar Tree are not the greatest, but that was one of those books that I couldn't put it down. It was shocking. The ending was not what I expected, and I still have yet to find another book that has the ending like that one did. So highly recommend that one. If you find it, I haven't seen it at Dollar Tree, but if your Dollar Tree has it, definitely pick it up and read it. I don't know where Dollar Tree gets their books, so if you know where like Dollar Tree books come from and stuff, look for that book. That book is so good, and it looks aesthetically pleasing. Like, you could use it as decoration. Hello? Okay, the second book is A Touch of Darkness by Scarlett St. Clair. You've probably heard me talk about this book before. It was really good. I love this book. Goodreads rated it 3.8. I absolutely rated it 5 stars. I thought that Goodreads should have it much higher in the ratings, especially since it's such, like, I've seen it in like book Instagram a lot, and then also like it has a whole series. I feel like for it to have as big of a series as it does, 3.8 rating on the first book on Goodreads is not the best. But I read that book really quick, and I love the characters. Persephone in that book, top tier girl boss. The third book is A Most Agreeable Murder by Julia Seals. You've probably, again, heard me talk about this book before. This book, again, aesthetically pleasing cover. Love the cover of this book. This book, I could not put it down either. Obviously, I gave it 5 stars. I had a 3.6 on Goodreads. I don't know if I said A Touch of Darkness, but it has 3.8. Yeah. But A Most Agreeable Murder, I read it in like 4 days, and I annotated that book so much, and I just loved that book. It was such a good mystery, especially with the main like detective being a female. You don't see it very often. Shout out Enola Holmes. I do love Enola Holmes though. And also I found that book in a little free library. So that was a top score in my part. I might have actually filmed when I grabbed that book. I don't remember. But that book was so good. Highly recommend if somebody sees it at Goodwill, like at Barnes & Noble. I haven't seen it there, but if you see it there, let me know. The fourth book is A Fate Inked in Blood by Daniel L. Jensen. This was a Book of the Month book, and Goodreads rated it a 3.9. Okay, if you round that up, it's a 4, I guess. But I thought it was really good. I thought the setting was drawn out perfectly. I felt like it was a movie in my head. I could totally follow along with the characters. And I loved the twists of the books, and I remember like the different relationships that we're building, and there was the characters were just so strong and so different, and they grew throughout the whole book, that it was just really something that I really, really enjoyed, and I feel like somebody else would also really enjoy it. And also I believe it's a series now too. But I highly recommend that book. For it having a 3.9 on Goodreads, I was a little shocked, especially since like I know multiple people have talked about it. So basically this whole video is going to be me recommending books to you. But also I love reading your comments. Please tell me your thoughts back and why you think like some of these ratings are valid. Like if A Fate Inked in Blood, that's really hard to say fast. deserves that 3.9. Tell me why. Tell me why. I love talking book, you know? Okay. Now this shocked me. This should be higher. Ready? The Cruel Prince by Holly Black has 4 stars. That should at least be a 4.2 or higher. I obviously put it 5 stars. I loved the beginning of that book. It just hooked me in right away. I loved the setting. The main character was amazing. I love the way she thinks and her actions and stuff. So the author did a really, really good job with that. I really like Holly Black. Like, this book made me a Holly Black fan, okay? The love interest, Cardon, so strong. He was such a good love interest. And the way that his character, you know, meshes with Jude. I'm pretty sure it's Jude is her name. Oh, it's so good. They mesh together so well. And then Jude has a sister, and the sisterly bond is adorable. So, highly recommend that book. Even though it only has 4 stars, I think it should be higher than that. So this book shocked me. This book, I highly recommend it to everybody. It's a little bit of confusing of a read, but once you get it, and you'll want to reread it, okay? So I rated it 5 stars. It has a 3.7 on Goodreads. In my caption, my little notes that I wrote, I literally said, no. So this is The 7.5 Lives of Evelyn Hart. No. The 7.5 Deaths of Evelyn Hardcastle by Stuart Turton? Not sure. I'm very bad at pronouncing names, guys. I'm sorry. This book, I'm going to try and do it without spoiling it. It was so, so good. I could not put this book down. The idea behind it was so clever. I've never, experienced another book that was anything similar to this one. And the plot twist at the end and just throughout the story was so perfectly disguised. I was constantly flabbergasted while reading this book. I wish I had my own copy of this. I don't. It was my aunt's. I had to give it back. But it was so, so good. I highly recommend this to somebody. Just know it does take a second to get used to because of how the author wrote it and the idea behind the story. But I promise you, it is so good. And it's a mystery. Okay, so the next book, you've probably heard me gush about this series, at least a little bit, is Assistant to the Villain by Hannah Nicole. I don't know how to say her last name, so I'm not going to say her the last name. This has 3.9 on Goodreads. That should at least be a 4. I know I'm not rounding up, but still. Guys, that book was so good. And also, it came with sprayed edges. That's how the author, the publishers published the book was with sprayed edges, so it automatically came with it. You didn't have to buy extra. The $30 plus sprayed edges edition of a book. It comes that way. I love that book. I loved it so, so much. The characters, I loved the frog, Kingsley. He holds up little signs and he talks, how he talks. Oh, and he was a perfect touch. Hannah did such a good job with adding him because I just love Kingsley. He's on the cover of every single book. There's 4 books now, guys. I was at Barnes & Noble the other day, and I saw that the newest book came out, and when I tell you I squealed in that Barnes & Noble, and I had yet to read the 3rd book. So, I need to get on that because I didn't even know there was a 4th book. Oh, I need that 4th book. That 4th book is gorgeous. The cover is gorgeous. I couldn't tell if it had a sprayed edge or not. And Hannah doesn't have a sprayed edge. I'm going to be a little upsetty. So, 100% I would read this series. Also, the chapters are short, guys. So if you have a short attention span, that's okay. This book will hook you in, and you can read, a couple pages, and then boom, that's a chapter. So, if you only want to sit for, I don't know how long it takes you to read a chapter, but if you only want to read a chapter, it won't take you that long. Read that book, guys. It's amazing. Anyway, 3.9 on Goodreads is not what you should have. Next book. The Lost Apothecary by Sarah Penner has a 3.7 on Goodreads. Obviously, I think it should have a 5. This book also wasn't like any of the other books I've read. It flipped between modern day and then 1800s, I think. And the ties were so clever. And I think there was also an in-between time, the present day 1800s and something in between. I don't remember. But it was so good. It was a really satisfying read. The cover of it was gorgeous. Like, every time I went to Barnes & Noble, I went to that book every time, and eventually I finally bought it, and it was so worth it. And it's a quick read. It's a quick read, guys. It's so good. It has a little bit of mystery in it. It has a fabulous backstory. Highly, highly recommend that one. Please. If you want like a peaceful, but yet a little bit suspenseful and a little intriguing read, I wouldn't say it's a beach read because the settings don't match. They clash the settings, but highly recommend that one if it's like a rainy day. Sit on your couch, sit wherever you like to sit and it's raining and read that book. It's amazing. Okay, next book is probably less popular. Not sure if anybody's heard of it, but it's called Housebroke by J.C. Burton. It has a 3.4 on Goodreads, which I mean is understandable, I guess, because it's not that popular of a book. But I found it in a free little library. Speaking of, if you guys would like me to rate the books that I've read from the free little libraries that you've seen in my videos, let me know, and I will totally do that, because sometimes they're amazing. Sometimes, no, they're not. And I would love to tell you guys. That way, hopefully it gives you some courage to go a little free library hunting. So, Housebroke is basically about, hopefully I'll have the cover up somewhere, guys. But pretty much the girl has a bunch of dogs and she loses her apartment or something, and so she has to move into a house that her friend is a realtor and she's selling the house. The house is supposedly vacant, but obviously it wasn't. And there's another guy that like lives there that's possibly renting the house. I forget the whole situation, but so it's like forced proximity love, and he doesn't really care about the dogs. He doesn't really care about her. He's like, whatever, we're roommates, we live in the same house. But he cares for her. Like, he makes her breakfast. He makes dinner for her. Like, he cleans the house, I'm pretty sure. Like, he's obviously not a maid. He makes really good money. He's a billionaire, because duh. But that book is such like a cozy, forced proximity love. Also, it felt really, really, really realistic, especially like for a girl who loves animals. Having 4 dogs and like kind of experiencing how that character lived with the 4 dogs and through her financial struggles, it was really eye-opening, and like I kind of learned from that book actually. So that's why I gave it 5 stars. I don't know why it has 3.4. Anywho, the last book that I'm going to talk about today, if you would like me to do a part 2, please let me know. I would love to. As I mentioned earlier, I totally could do a little free library rating those books, the books that I've gotten from those. I also could do one where I agree with the Goodreads ratings. So, let me know. So, the last book that I want to talk about today is To Kill a Kingdom by Alexandria Christino. Again, not very good at pronouncing names, guys. So, this has a 3.7 on Goodreads. Obviously, I give it a 4. But I kind of took this book as a retelling of The Little Mermaid, because she's actually forced out of the water by her mother. She's a siren, the main character is, and she's forced out of the water because she kind of makes googly eyes at a prince, and her mom's like, no. So she's forced to go with him because she thought she was going to die up there, or like get murdered or something, like not thrive. Well, the opposite happens, and obviously she thrives, she falls in love, and so she actually gets betrayed. I'm not going to tell you who, but moral of the story, she becomes the hero. Duh. So Ariel saves the day. Prince Eric dude, he does his best, and he does, like, you know, no, that's my lady, and, like, you know, tries to save the damsel in distress, but Miss Ma'am's a girl boss, and so she did it by herself. So if you like a retelling of The Little Mermaid, I highly recommend that book. Because that book, I couldn't put it down. The author wrote it so well. Also, the fan art for that book, the fan art's gorgeous. Fan art, gorgeous. I don't typically look at fan art until like a couple chapters toward the end, or after the book is done, because I like to have my own image of what the characters look like. But I will say, the accuracy of those fan art is amazing, and the talent of those fan art creators are amazing. So even if you don't read that book, look up that fan art for To Kill a Kingdom, because it's really good. Anyway, if you have any ideas for any other future videos, please let me know. If you have any books that you have seen in some of my videos that you know I've read, or ask me if I've read them and you want me to do a rating on them, totally can. Or do any of my 2 other ideas that I mentioned earlier. Anyway, I hope you have a good day, good night, good evening, whenever you're watching this, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!